all, and this is the beginning of the Chinese New Year, by a couple of days. So we took advantage of the fact that we had a board member that was from China and had lots of experience. And so we have the benefit of learning from her all about Chinese New Year. This is the year of the dog, I know that. So at this time, I'd like to introduce you to Julie C.
Hey.
Okay, let's start. Okay, 新年快乐 which is Happy New Year, everyone. Yeah.
Say it again so we can learn.
Yeah, I have a slide. We'll show you later. Also. Okay. Yeah. Hi everyone. My name is Julie. Today, I'm going to talk about the traditions about Chinese New Year celebration, and also something about the basics of China. So some people, may be interesting about know something about China. Yeah.
I hope it works.
Let me start with a little bit of my background. Yeah. I was born and grew up in a small city in China. And this city located in the middle of China. But the population is kind of about 500,000. Okay, the size of the area is 34 miles, square miles, so small city with 500,000 people there. So you can imagine how crowded.
Is this near the coast?
No, in the middle.
In the middle.
Yeah,
Got it.
in the middle of China.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up there, and by then I don't think there's that many people over there. But the 500,000, the data is like 2017. The people population like that, 500,000. Yeah, and I got my bachelor degree from China in the major of non-ferrous metallurgy. I don't think
Non-ferrous metallurgy?
it's popular here. Yeah. After that, I worked in Zhengzhou Light Metals Research Institute for 12 years before I came over to the U.S. Yeah, my family came over to U.S. Was 24 years ago. When that time, my husband is studying on his PhD in Ohio State University. So that's why we all moved from China, moved here, come with him. And then after he graduated, he got a job in South Carolina. So we moved to South Carolina and lived there for 16 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Meanwhile, in South Carolina, I finished my master's degree in material science and engineering. Yeah. And then I worked in some of the labs for several years. Yeah. Our family, moved around a lot. Following my husband's job change, we lived in Louisiana for 2 years, and then now we got here in Charlotte, 1 year ago. Yeah. My family loves travel. We like to see the beauty of nature, and then we like to go mountains and lakes, beach. Yeah. Also, I like Zumba very much. Yeah, I enjoy that. Zumba.
Roomba?
Yeah.
Zumba.
Zumba
Zumba.
dance.
Zumba.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the dance.
Zumba
Kind
song.
of dance, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, the next one, yeah, this is my outline for
Mm-hmm.
the talk today. First, I talk a little bit the basics about China. Next, I think I will talk about the traditions of Chinese New Year celebration, and then we'll find some difference between China and the U.S. So finally, we'll have trivia question here.
Mhm.
Okay, next one. Yeah, this is a map, the world map. From this map, you can find, the U.S. there. Can you point? No. Okay. The U.S. is there. It's on the upper left. China is here, the blue one. There. It's on upper right. Okay. They are so far away from each other. It will take I think 12 to 16 hours
Mm-hmm.
by direct flight from coast to coast. Yeah, it's very far. Yeah. The China surrounded with 14 countries there.
Hmm.
And actually I found that they have something in common. Okay. You see, they are all on the coast of Pacific Ocean, but one is west, another one is east. And also the level of the latitude looks the same, you see,
Mm-hmm.
there.
Mm-hmm.
And they are located in the north of the globe. So that's something, in common.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, but because where we live in the earth, that's the shape of a ball. So actually, we live just the opposite side. One is here, another one's here. So the 24 years ago, before we left China, my son had a best friend, the 6-year-old boy. He asked us a question: if you go to United States, how can you walk? Because you just, upside down there. Yeah, I said, oh, that's a good question. Let's see. However, when we got here, yeah, we found out we just walk the same thing as we walk in China. Yeah, it's amazing.
How many time zones in China?
No.
Just one.
Just one
Just
time
one.
zone in China.
So people yourself will have to, make the adjustment.
Yes, but I
Yeah.
mean, Western China isn't 2 o'clock and East Shanghai is 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
It's all just one.
Yeah, we are fine because we live in the middle of China. It doesn't matter for us, use the Beijing time. But in the West, you see, there, it's not good. I never lived there, but I feel like in the morning, it's still dark, very dark. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Tom, this is gonna become a little bit clearer to you when you see where the population is located in China.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have the next one.
Okay.
Yeah. These two pictures, this map for U.S. and China. You can see. I feel like they are from the size of land and the shape of land. It looks much similar, right?
Mm-hmm.
They all, this way, east west is longer and south north is short. Okay. U.S. has 50 states and Washington D.C., but China actually have more complicated the layout. There are 23 provinces and 5 autonomous regions, like Guangxi, Inner Mongolia, Ningxia, Tibet, Xinjiang, is 5. Yeah, also have 4 directly governed the cities, like Washington D.C. here but China has 4.
Mhm.
Also, there are 2 special administrative regions, Hong Kong and Macau. Macau, I think you all know that one, right?
Macau, yeah.
Yeah, Hong Kong. Yeah. Yeah, because they just Hong Kong just hand over to China in 1997. Yeah, Macau was hand over to China in 1999. Yeah, so these are the 2 special, regions. They say that these 2 regions operated like an independent country. Yeah. However, their foreign, affair or the defense staff is responsible for China. Yeah. It's an operation. Yeah, like that. Looks these 2 maps looks pretty much same. However, the population there's a huge difference, and also in United States the people can live everywhere. Okay, so the population is distributed very evenly, right? But in China it's different. Okay, the population very concentrated to the east side.
Mm-hmm.
In here, you see there are lots of provinces there, just in that area. Okay, so in that area, the population is very high. Rest of there, with much less population live there, because of the west, the land and the weather, lots of factors. It's not easy or not good for people to have crops. So the people are poor in the west, in the most west area.
Mm-hmm.
就是那个样子。Okay, so China's full name, I think maybe you all know that. The full name is the People's Republic of China. Okay, to compare these 2 countries, we can see here. You see that's the area size.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them quite
Mm-hmm.
same. Okay, but the population, you see, there are 323 million people living in the United States. In China, there's 1.39 billion people living in China. So the population in China, like 4 times more than the United States population. Yeah, but climate side, they're probably same. As I said, the level of latitude is same. It depends on where you live. The climate. The U.S. was founded in July 4th, 1776. In China, in 1949, the Communist Party took over the power. So they founded, they call New China. Okay, October 1st, 1949.
Mm-hmm.
China's capital is Beijing. I think everybody knows that. This picture shows Beijing Tiananmen Square. Okay, in the holidays, people will decorate the Tiananmen Square very well. Yeah, and the flag, China flag is red with 5 stars. China has a very long and extremely rich histories. They stretch back about 4,000 years. The dynasty, the first dynasty started from Xia. This one, Xia dynasty. It's from 2070 BC to 1600 BC. Yeah. Prior to 19th century, the China was one of the most advanced civilization on the earth. But after that, there are lots of things happened that made China very poor country. Yeah, and now, it's one of the fastest growing country, in the world. Okay, we start talk about the Chinese New Year. Okay, the Chinese New Year start from the lunar calendar. You know that it's not the same as the calendar we use here. So the lunar calendar, just the calendar, is based on the monthly cycle of the moon phases. Yeah, the most commonly used the calendar like we use here, they call solar calendar, which is based on the annual cycle of the solar year. So that's different calculation for the time. Yes, yeah. But in China right now officially use the solar calendar. It's not the lunar calendar. The only people with traditional holidays or some specific dates, people will reference the lunar calendar. Yeah, it's not in the daily life not really use that. Yeah. Okay, next one. In the Chinese New Year celebration, basically, the Chinese New Year, this holiday is most important holiday in China. It's just like the Christmas here. Yeah. So it's a time for family reunion. Yeah. Wherever you are, so at this time you're expected to go home. Yeah, with your family. The home usually is the parents' home. The children, even you get married or have a big family, you still go to the parents' home for the celebration.
Julie, I was gonna just jump in here for a second, and I may be jumping in from time to time, because I got to see this presentation earlier this week, end of last week. And we talked about me jumping in every once in a while, because what was interesting to me was that the tradition is that the sun coming back the first night.
The New Year Day. On the New Year Day, the reunion only talk about the son with wife and with children come back. The second day of New Year will be the girls, with the children, with the family come back to visit the parents. Yeah, so they are different. Yeah, because in China, usually, when the boy, that's the tradition, okay? When the boy get married, you stay with family, with your parents, okay? But when the girl get married, you will go out of this family. You will go to the husband family. Yeah, just like this. So, yeah. So the tradition like that. Yeah. The holiday, is 3 days legal holiday. However, people feel that's too short, but only 3 days because the celebration have a longer time. So usually people will borrow the weekend days. They work in the weekend, and then they save this, to combine with the 3 days, the holiday together, so people can, have total 7 days out of work. Yeah. The celebration lasts 15 days from the first day and to 15th the day of the first lunar month. And actually, before that, okay, people will make lots of preparations for the celebration. So usually, they'll start 7 days, before the New Year Day. Yeah, preparation.
So, Julie,
Yeah.
when did this New Year start? What was the first day of this New Year?
In next slide.
Oh, you're gonna say what the day
Yeah,
was?
I'm going to talk about that. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't remember that.
Yeah, that's good. Next one. Yeah. yeah, people wonder, where this holiday come from. That story says, back in the dynasty, Shang dynasty, it's 17th or to 11th century BC. It says there was a monster named Nian, because the monster liked to eat children and eat the livestock. So, and also the monster just afraid of the red color and afraid of loud sound. So people decorate the house with the red color, and people set off the firecrackers, to scare off the monster away. Yeah. But right now, the Chinese character Nian, without any monster, meaning, it's only means year. Whenever I talk Nian, that's year.
But Julie, I think that I didn't make myself clear on the question. What was the actual date that New Year started this year?
Okay, here.
Yeah.
Just this one.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's the one.
Okay, look this calendar here. That's just the February 2018. The top number here, the top one, that's what we use, solar calendar.
Mm-hmm.
The bottom one is lunar calendar. In the bottom.
Oh.
Okay, this one, yeah. This one New Year Eve, for the Chinese New Year Eve. This one is New Year Day. So this year, the Chinese New Year just fall that day, the 16th. Yeah, last Friday, which is the last Friday. Today is 20th. Okay, 20th. So it's the 5th day of the New Year. So from the first day to 5th day, that's most people celebrate that. Nobody work. Yeah, do lots of stuff. Yeah, the Chinese New Year 2018, we call that Year of Dog. Yeah, just now Gertrude knows that. Yeah, so but why we call that? We need to find out by. Yeah. In order to answer that question, we have to know this Chinese zodiac, the signs. There are 12 animals. They are used for the zodiac signs. Yeah, start from like a rat there, and the next will be ox and a tiger, so on. And each zodiac signs will, for each year. Yeah, for each year. So they are in cycle. After the 12th year, so it go back to rat again. So they start a new cycle, just like this. Yeah. So you see here, 2018 here, it just fall to the top of the zodiac. Yeah. So next year will be pig. Last year is rooster. When there's baby is born this year in 2018, so the baby will have the zodiac sign, the dog. It will carry that for the whole life on the chin. Yeah. Yeah. That's why there's that's why. Yeah. We all can find in the old time people ask you just like you say hello when you meet people. Yeah. In China, people will try to get a talk start. They will ask what's your zodiac sign. Yeah, like that. Yeah. Once you answer the question, they will know how old are you. Yeah. Okay, that's it. Okay, as I said, there are lots of preparation for the Chinese New Year celebration. the 23rd day of the last month's lunar year is a day for people traditionally worship the god of kitchen. Okay, so in Chinese culture, the kitchen is so important, I guess. So that day, it was saying the story like the god of kitchen will go to heaven that day to have his annual report. Okay, so people will worship him and give him some sweet like a candy. Okay, and like the sweet sesame stick, like this picture. Yeah, that day people will eat that. That food is for that day. Yeah. People believe that if they worship the god of kitchen and give sweets, the god of kitchen will have a good report for this family. Yeah. Okay, next one. Okay, next day, which is 24th. Yeah, they call that house cleaning day. Look at these two characters, the Chinese characters. This Chen, the Chen means dust. This Chen means old and the past. Okay, they sound the same, but they have different meaning. So people just believe that by sweeping the dust, which is the Chen, yeah, they will get rid of the old bad luck in the past year, and then get a good luck from the coming year. So they will do the cleaning. Yeah, for that purpose. Yeah. Okay, next one. Okay. Also, people will do lots of decorations for the New Year celebration. The decoration usually people will have the cabinets like this, and also the New Year paintings, this and that, and then also have some paper cuttings. I will show you next slide. And yeah, like this. Usually this paper cutting just put on the window. Yeah, put on the window, and go back to that. These copies will put on the frame of your door, okay? Two sides and the up one, yeah. These New Year paintings usually will put on the door and on the wall, and sometimes in the furniture like that. Basically, for this decoration, all this kind of decoration, it's just for people express their best wishes. They wish have good luck, have good health, happiness, and have good fortune. All sentences, all words like that. Yeah. Next one. Yeah, this is just the paper cutting.
How long will it take you to cut out something like that?
The paper cutting?
Yeah.
Actually,
Depends on the skills.
Depends on the skill.
Depends on the skills. Some ladies can do that amazingly fast.
Now sometimes, I think the old one, I know very simple one, people fold the paper first and then just cut that.
One cut to make all the stuff with
But
one
right
cut.
now, I think they have some special, they should have some special tools for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the old time is all by hand, manually do that. Yeah.
It looks like it would take hours.
I believe so. Okay. Yeah. Here I have this character. If you can see this one they're same, right? But one is upside down. Okay. This character is full, means happiness and blessing. So people put this way. You can put this way, and you can put this way. They're all fine. Okay. You put it this way, there's meaning for that. in Chinese, again, they just take, the sound, same sound, and borrow the sound with meaning, like that. This doll, they are sound same, but this doll means upside down, like this. This doll is arrived, okay? But put it this way, they said the blessing and happiness arrived. Just, they just took, borrow that sound, make that, more lucky or something. Okay, next one. Yeah, food, that's must have, and Chinese prepare lots of food for the Chinese New Year celebration. The different food, some have different meaning. Okay, this one actually Cynthia made some today there over there. Okay, they call nian gao. Nian means year, gao means height or level. Okay, they just same thing. They want to take the sound. Okay, which means they hope you get year by year or next year you get better, you get high, you get another high level. Okay, that's just a wish and a blessing. Yeah, so that the dumplings is very popular food in Chinese New Year celebration, and also right now people eat that all year long. Yeah, but in the old time when people only because people very poor cannot have that kind of food, only eat that in the New Year. Yeah, erect stuffed with lots of things there. People believe erect the fortune. Yeah, something good thing there. Yeah. Also, this one is traditionally people have lots of the bread, which is steamed bread. People before the New Year Day will make lots of that, store there for the use. And also the chicken and the fish is a very good Chinese New Year food also. And people prepare lots of food before the New Year Day because in the first day, from first day to the fifth day, so people want to have fun when there are lots of things, visit the friends, relatives, and also they'll have lots of activities. So they don't want to stay in the kitchen to do that work. So they prepare that and easy, to just warm up or something. Yeah, these pictures show you the preparation for the New Year celebration. This one, I like that the tradition here, but right now people can buy dumplings anywhere. Okay, easy. Yeah. But the old time, the whole family together make dumplings, that's really fun, time. When you do something together and talk lots of things together, yeah, it's really feel family. That's a family event there. Yeah, that picture show you the old time how hard people work on to making the bread there. Yeah, lots of bread. This is the picture show you the now not old in traditional like this. This now on the street people shopping for the stuff prepare for the Chinese New Year. It's usually very crowded on the street for the shopping.
And Julie, was that street decorated for New Year's? Where was all that red up because it's for New Year's?
Yeah, it's not only decorated, they are also sell something like that.
Oh, they're selling this?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, they also sell that, yeah. Yeah, finally we come to the New Year Day. What, they do for the New Year Day, there are lots of things to do that day, but all these activities just inside the family, The first one, the people all wear the new clothes, yeah. Then the children will get lucky money in the red paper wrapped from the parents and the grandparents and the old generations will give the younger generation the money and then wrapped in the red paper.
Does the red color even today still reflect the idea about keeping away this monster that eats the children?
Right now people think that's happiness.
Happiness.
Happiness, yeah, that's all, good and happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, just like firecrackers, just like fire, I guess. Yeah. And also, family will have a big like banquet, like lots of food on the table. Yeah, that's that day. Also, the neighbors will give New Year greetings to each other. But you don't go very far to visit some relatives or friends, just the neighbors nearby. Yeah, you will say hello, say Happy New Year. Yeah, usually people just say, greetings, Happy New Year to you, but will not stay your house for dinner or something that day. Yeah, the New Year day. Okay, next one. Yeah, this picture just show you how they do that kind of stuff. Okay, here this boy here just kneel and bow down to the grandparents. Yeah, and the grandparents, you see, they hold the red paper wrap the money there. Yeah, after the boy say some wish, blessing or something good thing, and finish that, the grandparents will give the money. Yeah. Yeah, the firecrackers, the children can set off one by one like this, also can set off like that in string. Okay, from second day to the fifth day of the new year, that's time for relatives, friends, everything visit each other. Yeah, also for people go to the street and go to the Miaohui. The Miaohui just like that. There's lots of shows, and also on the street you can watch some performance like a line dance and dragon dance, lots of them. Yeah, the picture just show that. Yeah, on the street and on the Miaohui. Yeah, people have fun on the street. Yeah. Okay, next slide.
Question over here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was what's in the bottom left corner? What are those people dressed up as? Or
Where? Here?
yeah,
Oh, here.
yeah, that picture. What are they dressed up as?
Oh,
It's a big lion or something?
yeah. These
there's a line.
people just play the line dance. These people just wear the costumes. Yeah. Yeah, they are same team, like play together. Yeah. Not something so special or something. Just yeah.
Is the lion considered lucky?
The red one. Yeah, the red color. Yeah.
Lion also.
Yeah.
Lucky and.
The lion is lucky, I guess, also shows you have power.
Power, yeah,
power.
power.
Yeah, like that. Okay, when we got to the 15th, that day, they call that Lantern Festival. Okay, in that day, there's some celebration. That's actually for the, that's the last day of for New Year celebration. In that day, you have rice dumplings. Okay, look like this. I don't know you ever have that. It's made by the rice flour. You know, the same thing as Cynthia used that make the cake. Yeah, very sticky. Yeah, and stuffed with sweet stuffing. Yeah, sugar with sesame seeds or something. Yeah, or peanuts. Yeah, they make the sweet one. Also, you can see the line dance and some performance on the street also. And another big thing is lantern shows. There are lots of different lantern, you know, hang on the street or somewhere. Yeah, lantern shows. And enigma party for the lantern riddles. I don't know if you ever heard of that. Yeah, go next one. I will show you the what look like. Yeah, this all kind of this picture show you the different kind of lantern. Yeah, you can see, you can find from the lantern show. And this picture is about the lantern riddles. In the traditionally this one, you know, you put the riddles on the lantern, and but now people just get an easy one, just put it in the paper like this. Yeah. For Cynthia had a question about how to play that. Okay, yeah, there are people put some description sentences to give a clue like this for the riddle, and then you will need to figure out what's that. Okay, once you get the right answer, okay, you will get a prize, and this one will take away. Yeah,
They take away the lantern.
Yeah, they take away the lantern or just take away the riddle.
On the riddle.
Yeah.
But you said they're very hard riddles.
Yeah, it's very hard.
Yeah,
Some of
very
them very hard. Yeah, because they are not only for some articles, something. They also have some characters you need to guess. What side you need to figure out. Yeah, lots of different kind of things you needed to figure out. Yeah, not only one field or one category. Yeah. Okay.
Julia, there's some water here for you.
Okay, the Chinese New Year, I just talked about, here. And next we'll go to another topic. Yeah, because I think probably lots of people right now talking about there's a big changes in China in the past 30 years. So here, let's see my list for the change. Okay. I think first the Chinese transportation system this year really developed a lot. Okay, and they are all much more advanced than rest of the world because they are new. They just all made in this 20 years. They are new, so they build very well and very good. Next one, I would say the size of all cities expanded and doubled in China. In the population and the size of the land, they all get doubled. So you can see lots of big tall buildings, over 20 stories. Even in a small city, like my hometown, you can see lots of tall buildings there. Yeah, because lots of the young farmers, they were in the countryside. Right now, most of them want to go to city, get a job, work in a city. So the city got, expanded. Yeah, for the phone, when we were there 24 years ago, basically there are no family phones. Okay, we didn't have family phones. My husband come over first. Later we come over. Before we come over, yeah, he just want to call us, but we don't have a phone to call. Yeah, and that day he will write a letter to me, and the letter will travel 2 weeks to get to me, and in the letter he will set up a schedule for us to phone each other, and the scheduled time I will go to my company office, yeah, because the office have a phone, I can answer phone there. So every time we just talk that way. Yeah, yeah. And and car also same thing. Before we 24 years ago, there was no personal car at all. So that time you really cannot imagine, right now most people have a family car in China now.
In over 24 years almost.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
It is.
However,
Another
you
24.
don't like the traffic at all. Yeah, yeah,
Can you imagine?
yeah, the traffic jams all the time, yeah, okay. Yeah, I will talk about the WeChat. I don't know if you heard of that, but when you talk about China, you have to know the WeChat, okay? The WeChat just like the Facebook here, but they use much more than Facebook for the Chinese people right now. That is just becoming the people's lifestyle in many aspects. I will talk
It does
in
many
detail.
many more things than Facebook.
Yeah, I talk in detail later, okay, in next the slide. However, you all know that because the fast economy grows, so it causes a problem also. The pollution is very bad in many cities. It's in a very serious situation. Yeah, I will show you some pictures. You can see that. Okay. Okay, here we talk about the transportation. This is a high-speed train. The first, that picture show you what look like the high-speed train. The average, I think, is 186 miles per hour. It's really easy to travel over there. It's much easier because I feel they're better than the airport. Airplane. Okay. Let me in the old time, before we come over here 24 years ago, if I go from my hometown to Beijing, I think it will take like 14 hours. Okay, by train. Okay. But right now, by this high speed, 3 hours. Okay. And I can pick that just close to my parents' home. The train station, I think if you drive just 10 minutes away there. It's easy. And you don't need to get there like 1 hour earlier either. Just go there probably 10 to 20 minutes earlier, it's fine. Very easy to get there. And when you get another, city, you drive to another city, it's same thing. The train station just inside the city. So it's not like an airport, it's far away from the city. So much easier.
So,
Yeah.
Tom, I was gonna show you, so I asked Julie why the train, routes were only on the right-hand side of the country.
That's what the population is.
And she,
Population.
and that's what she told me,
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
people are only living over on that side.
Yeah, 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 yeah. The China started this high-speed train from year 2004. Okay, so right now, in 2016, this data from 2016, the system reached 12,000 miles long. Yeah, it's this system you can see from the map. The network just covered almost everywhere, but not the west. Okay, they have the plan to do something about that. Yeah, later. We go next one. Yeah, this plan for 2020. So the high-speed train will cover the west here.
Is it impolitic to ask about the so-called one road, one belt policy?
Yeah.
What's that?
That's okay.
Okay.
You can do.
Okay, I see that one. But I really I didn't understand, much
Okay.
about that policy. Yeah.
Okay. Apparently, do you know about this?
Yeah, I
Okay.
know a little bit, yes.
It's an effort, as I understand it, to build highways and roads going west to integrate the economy of China with India and all the way to the Mediterranean Sea, actually.
Yeah, to Europe.
And it's seen as a very strong geopolitical challenge to Europe and to the West and to the economies there. But the idea, as I vaguely understand it, is to bring in these other economies, even from Indochina and the North, and to integrate basically China into the Middle East and Europe.
Yeah.
Well, that's very much like what's gone on for centuries, because I went to Lijiang and Yunnan province. You know, there are 54 ethnic minorities
Yes.
in China,
Right.
but the 27 of them are in the province I went to, and they're making big changes there too. But it's no different than it was before when you had the Han Chinese in part of China.
Yes.
They took over all these other ethnicities.
Yeah.
The other 53 were different countries, different peoples.
Yeah.
So already you're talking about within their borders, that's already happened. And I was in the part of China where the Burmese live. And in contrast to what I saw in Shanghai with the big buildings, they were very, very primitive villages. The kids had gone to school for the last 2 years only. And the way they went to school was to be shipped to a boarding school 5 days a week.
Yeah.
There was no sanitation in this town.
Very remote.
Well, it was pretty, a lot of people there, but it was definitely a village. But everyone was using the bathroom was the street, and it didn't matter where you were. You just stopped for any purpose and used the street. Yeah. And it's just really, if you see how far the country has come from that kind of there are places in the United States that had no toilets and roads too just 10 years ago.
Yeah, China has a long way to go, so it's still developing.
But again, they took over all those countries.
Yeah.
Burma, Tibet, they're trying to convince Tibet that it really should be part of China, even though they don't want to be it.
That's one way to put it.
People, so as long as they can conquer, that'll increase their economic strength.
Yeah.
Next.
Okay, next. Okay, this show you the city subways. Okay. Before we come over 24 years ago, and there's only one city, which is Beijing, has a subway system. Yeah, but now there are 25 cities have subway systems.
Are they all connected to each other?
Oh
No.
only for cities.
So it's
Inside
just
the
that city only?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That subway?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pictures, I just got them from the internet. So I didn't find the one show
The crowded.
actually what look like, because actually it's much more crowded like this, than this one. Yeah. Yeah, here I just show one city, Shanghai. I think most people probably know this name. Shanghai is the largest city in the world. Okay, the population like 24 million. Okay, there. The size of area is 2,448 square miles. Yeah. So the density of the people you can see is 10,550 people per square mile. Yeah. You can imagine, you know.
Do we know what it is in Seattle?
Uh-huh.
Anybody know what the population per square mile is?
Nothing like that.
Nothing like that, yeah.
maybe
Nothing like that.
100 maybe.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they build the subway system, okay? This their subway system. There are 17 lines right now. It seems, you know, it's so many, you know, they cover the whole city. They will get easier for the transportation, but it's really not because of the population, you know, so big. On the ground, the bus and the cars still have very bad, you know, traffic.
Do you have any pictures of the old town in Shanghai?
Oh, I had one, but I didn't put
That's
it
just
here.
amazing too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
In the contrast.
Big change.
Yeah, big city.
You
big
just
city,
unbelievable.
Yeah, I actually have one on my phone. Someone just sent to me about Shanghai. You know how people live there in a very very small,
Right.
you know, area. There's a house, one by one, very tiny. In the middle, there's a space. I think it's just like this. I don't know how many families share one, you know, the faucet for the water there. People wash, you know, for the cooking, you know, wash clothes, and do everything together. Just share this space.
Yeah, I mean, in the old town, you see this. You see the water supply like every 4 or 5 houses, or maybe 1 or 2 a block. There'd be just a sink, and that's it.
Yeah.
For the whole block.
Yeah, yeah. We are same. When I was a child, I think 20 families share one, you know, the faucet there, with the running water there, just one. But at that time we didn't feel any, you know, inconvenience.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you didn't know, you know, outside of the world how people use the water, right? Yeah. Okay. Go back. Yeah, that's Shanghai transportation, and this picture shows you the Pudong area. The Pudong area is a new developed area, so it's really not pretty, and you can find almost all big companies in the world. They're there. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of those big tall buildings have the names of American
Yeah,
corporations on them.
GM is there.
Yeah.
Ford
GM,
is there.
everything.
Yeah.
Everyone there.
All the big banks.
And that's a TV station. You see where the two
Oh, yeah.
balls are?
Yeah,
One of those
yeah,
is
yeah.
TV
Yes,
station
right.
Yeah.
up top.
You've been there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How prominent is the discussion, if it still exists, about so-called ghost cities?
Ghost city.
Hundreds of cities that could easily fit 1 million people and nobody lives in them.
There's a couple of them in China.
Where is that?
In China.
The people moved out?
No, they never moved in.
Yeah.
Oh.
Some bad construction. Some old industries dead, so people moved away. And there's a couple of
I don't
them
know.
in China.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard of moving away, but not.
Yeah.
But I think
It's like Detroit.
I cannot think about which
Yeah.
one like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's landscape for Shanghai. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Next one. Okay.
WeChat.
I talked about WeChat. Why? I say it's so important because WeChat, actually, that's just the social media mobile application software, but the user base is huge over there in China.
Wow.
Today, look like, everyone use WeChat, for all different kind of things to do. And yeah, because WeChat builds a unique social community for its users across the globe. It makes every connections possible, among the people. So like me, I can use the WeChat connect with my family, my friends, my relatives, also any group I'm interested in the whole world. Anyway, which is easy to connect. And we can talk, we can type, leave message, like that. The most impacted thing from the WeChat actually is the WeChat Pay. Okay, here. The WeChat right now already become the part of the Chinese daily life, and you can use WeChat Pay to have your transaction payment anytime, anywhere. It's so easy, just click. Okay, like here, I don't know you, and if I need to pay you, I can click. And you have WeChat, I have WeChat, so we can pay each other. And on the street, someone just sell something on the street, you can pay there also. Yeah, it's so easy for people make the money, transaction payment. So
Does it work through a banking system?
that WeChat is from a company, actually that's a high-tech company. The problem is similar like Facebook, like that.
They
like
have their
PayPal.
own
Yeah.
platform,
Uh-huh.
but now the central bank requires them to register with the
Yes.
central bank.
Uh-huh.
There's new policy, like 6 months ago.
That's a new thing, yeah.
So they give you a statement, you can see how much money you have in WeChat bank account?
Basically, you set up an account which is bound with your
Your
banking account.
I see.
Yeah.
So you automatically draw your
Uh-huh.
money
I see.
from your bank account.
So every month you can get a statement from your bank, how much money
You
you
can
have,
see
Yeah.
every day.
but also from
Oh.
WeChat.
Yeah,
I see.
I guess
Yeah.
so.
Wow.
Yeah. So right now, basically, people say you don't need any wallet in China. Okay, you just pay.
You
With
just
your
need
phone.
an iPhone.
What if you lose it?
That's bad.
Yeah.
That's
Don't
right.
lose that.
Yes. You cannot lose it.
They have a
Yeah.
PIN system before you pay. Make sure you enter your PIN number.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I don't
That
have
helps,
that
but
WeChat
we know
Pay.
your
So
stuff is in
maybe
it.
this young gentleman will know how it works.
Mm.
I only heard, the payment everywhere, anytime. You can do very easy. Yeah. Okay. So
Mhm.
these pictures show you how bad, the pollution in China. Yeah, it's really bad. You can see on the street when there's a day, very bad, just like this. And they have to have some wind coming. And once you got the wind, you get clear again. Yeah. I don't know. However, this year I heard this winter is better than last year. Yeah, that's good news.
I just want to give you a time check.
Yeah. 15 minutes.
Okay, yeah, we can do this. Okay. Next one. Okay, here,
Ni hao?
do you want to learn Chinese?
Mhm.
This one is Happy New Year, 新年快乐.
新
年
快乐。
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good job.
新年快乐 Yeah, this means Happy New Year. Yeah. Yeah. I think Chinese is very hard to learn for the foreign, language speakers, and because in Chinese they use 4 tones, tunes. What I
Tones.
said.
Yeah.
4
Tunes.
tunes.
Tones is what she's saying.
Tones,
Yeah.
T-O-N-E-S.
4
Yeah.
tunes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you speak, say the tones right, people can understand you. If you cannot say that correctly, so maybe people cannot understand you. This is the extreme example. So this is my, means buy. This is my, means sell.
Say that again.
Totally
Slowly.
different.
It didn't sound different to me. Can
Yeah.
you say it more slowly?
My.
My.
Is, the third, tone. My.
Mhm.
And that one is my. It's
Oh,
4.
one.
Yeah, yeah. It's my and my. So just make that
One
difference.
is short, one is long.
Okay.
One goes up at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like that. Also because China is so big, there's lots of local languages. Okay, they all use the same characters. Okay, the Chinese characters, but the pronunciation is different. So that's why I cannot understand the Cantonese at all. Yeah, because there's so much difference.
Dialect.
Yeah.
Different dialect.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So for example here, 吃 means eat, right? So we say 吃, but some of the local languages say 茶. But how do you know? When you go there, you never heard that. How do you know that? Yeah. This is the. But people usually from different location, they talk to each other. We use the standard Chinese, which is
Mandarin.
Mandarin. Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, since this is so totally different than what we know, we have 26 lousy letters, and we can make every word in English from 26 letters without, umlauts or things with slashes through them. So in many ways, there have been many books about why English has become so popular and with computers and everything, because it's so simple in a way. At what point, since every character is different there, at what point are you considered educated? How many characters do you have to sort of know? Or, because there must be thousands and thousands of these characters.
There are probably over 10,000 characters there. However, in the daily life, I guess about 1,000.
Maybe
1,000.
1,000 would be enough to read newspaper.
Really?
Yeah.
Ah,
Maybe
So-
maybe 2,000.
I see.
You will see, most of them, you never use it.
I see.
Actually, for the characters, we combine them into words.
Words, yeah.
Yeah, just like alphabets. And then we have many words.
I see.
Yeah. 2,000 would be sufficient to read newspaper.
So it's not quite so impossible as it seems.
No,
Well, the
it's
language
doable.
I
It's
see.
totally
I
It's
see.
also
doable.
structured differently too. Like we
Yeah,
have
yeah.
parts of speech,
Yes.
Yeah.
so that you can have a word that we have one form of the word if it's a verb and another form if it's a noun.
Right.
Whereas they would just have one word.
Uh-huh.
And the verbs, we have the present tense and the past pluperfect and the future
All that stuff.
pluperfect.
Yeah.
And there's this one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right,
we don't
right.
know that. We
You're
just
right.
use another words, put in a sentence, you will know
Mhm.
if that's,
Yes.
past time or
Right, right.
some, yeah. Yeah, it's a different way,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's check out what's the difference between the China and the US. Okay, the first one, the order of the name, we write is different. Okay, in Chinese, the family name always first. Okay, your given name is next one. So by that, my name is Xing Julie. Okay, but in US, the given name first and the family name is second, so my name is Julie Xing.
Julie, I have another question. I also used to have Chinese people living with me when who were scientists,
Yeah.
like postdoctoral fellows, and
Mhm.
because I lived near a national institute where they worked. But I was always confused, not just about the generational thing, because if your name was Xin Julie,
Mhm.
then Julie would be,
My father's name. You only
What?
carry your father's name.
you carry your father's name, but in the next generation, doesn't your father's name come first, and then your name, and then for the generation after that, for your children,
Mhm.
your second name would be their first name.
No,
That's not right.
No,
Okay,
no, no.
that's where I
Yeah.
I keep
I think it's just like here, the
So if
children
you're-
only take father's family name,
Right.
get that one. But for the girl like me, my son will take his
Well, yeah, that's
last name, not mine.
right. Well, that's
Yeah.
true a lot of places. But,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
okay.
Also, there's another thing, okay? When I got married, I don't need change my last name to his. Okay,
Mhm.
nobody,
Right.
the ladies will not change
Change
the
the name.
Really?
That's
change
good.
names.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I will keep my family name.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that. Okay, the address, the order for the address is the same, just opposite each other. Okay, the Chinese writes the address start from big area.
Mhm.
And from province, city, street, building, and unit. Okay, from a big to small,
Are the addresses on a street in a kind of a logical way as opposed to Japan, where they're by age of the buildings?
Age? No.
In Japan.
It doesn't matter with the.
So for you, if you're on Oak Street in Shanghai, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like here. Even numbers on one side, odd numbers on the other side.
No.
No.
Here, the name system, I guess, is not like here, have some, rule to follow.
Uh-huh.
I guess people just randomly give names. I feel like that way.
Okay.
Yeah, just a name. Yeah. So here, in US, how it's different. Yeah. For the food, it's funny. I feel, Chinese drink hot water, all the time. When I work in the lab, the people laugh on me about why you drink hot water. I said I used to. Yeah, but here people drink the ice water.
Do they heat it up or just hot water from the faucet?
Oh, I usually here I use microwave.
Mhm.
Yeah. Someone told me when I come over, say the hot water from a faucet cannot drink. I don't know. I don't know who tell me about that. I remember someone said, yeah. Also, we can, heat it from stove. Yeah. And Chinese make the salty pancakes, but here people make the sweet pancakes. That's different also. And the days, Chinese write the year, month, and the day. Here, US month, day, and the year. Okay.
In Germany, it's day, month, year. A lot of places like that.
Europe.
Okay.
Yeah, Europe.
Okay. Okay. This one
Hey.
interesting. Okay.
Wow.
I like that one.
I know. Yeah, the age is retired. Right now, for the woman is 55. For the man is 60. It's not fair, right? Yeah. So right now there are lots of, my friends and my classmates, like same age as me, they are already retired for years. Yeah. Like that. Here you have to.
Do they have do they have money to live on? At 55, do they have a way to support themselves?
Yeah. Actually, they have the retire. That's called pension. I don't know. It's a wage. I guess it's just wage. But you cannot get 100% your salary. Just part of your salary. Someone still make a very good. I think very good. Yeah.
Is this pension administered by the government, or the federal government, or the state government, or yourself?
The government,
The federal government?
yeah, should be that way, right?
No, it depends on if for government employees,
Ah.
administered by government, but the company have their own pension system.
Uh-huh.
Company has.
But after retired, you get money from same place,
Oh.
from bank, I know from bank.
Wow. Where did
The bank will give you, yeah.
And
I think
this pension lasts for your whole life?
yes.
Yeah.
See, we used to have that here, but we virtually don't have that anymore.
It used to be very common.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
and the companies paid for it.
Yeah.
But with frankly increasing international competition, that became pretty much impossible.
Yeah.
Because the companies don't know what their liability is gonna be for 20, 30 years after people retire.
Yeah.
So now you have this called 401k, which you probably know about.
Yeah,
Very
because
different.
that one in China, they just, I think they manage it by government. Yeah, all employees, not only the government employees. All employees after retire, they have some kind of, like our social security, you know, like that. They put together in a pool something.
And plus another big factor is Chinese people tend to save more rather than
Yes.
spend.
Yeah.
So by
but-
the time they retire, they save a lot of money already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why.
How about those who don't earn enough, though?
Yeah, it's still safe.
As much as they can, but I mean, realistically, can they save enough if they have low salaries?
You'll be surprised.
Depends on the cost of living also.
Oh, yeah. and where
Surely
they
in the
are,
rural
the
areas
location.
it's less expensive.
Yeah, yeah, there's a big difference between the big city and the remote, someone, like she said, they're very poor people.
Oh, just a whole lot.
Yeah. Okay, we got here the questions. So first one, how many KFCs are in China?
Oh, they're all over the place.
What?
They're all over the place.
How many?
I don't know, but they're everywhere. In the cities.
So
On
you
the-
know that?
On the news today, there was a thing saying that in the United Kingdom, many of the KFCs had to close because they have no chickens. And so they said that they have something
Oh, I
like
saw that.
790 in the whole country, and like 700 of them had to close. And everybody said, how come there's 700 KFCs or whatever it was in the United Kingdom? So compared to that, to China, it must be 7,000 KFCs in China.
Probably.
Yeah, I think in China they have more KFC than McDonald's.
Yeah.
No kidding. Wow.
Is it
6,000.
4,000 something? Yeah.
4,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Next question. How much US government debt does China hold?
A trillion? An awful lot.
Yeah.
I think
very-
lots of people talk about
A
and,
very high percentage of our debt.
lots of people talk about and worry about it, right? But I just figured out from the internet, okay? I didn't know before, and which is 1.189 trillion.
Oh, I was
dollars.
close.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I said 1 trillion.
it's a lot money for us to think of, right? However, it's only 5%
Uh-huh.
in the total, you know.
Yeah.
US debt?
US government debt.
Mhm.
Yeah, only 5%. So we don't need to worry about that. Yeah, and next one, how many foreign films are shown each year in Chinese city? Can you guess that one? How many? You know that one?
I'm thinking 23.
23,000.
Close.
34.
34.
Yeah,
That's all.
regulars.
And
Yeah.
they're not
That's
promoting
close.
US
Yeah.
goods,
Who
right?
is that?
Yeah, that's you know regulation about that.
Uh-huh.
Only simple. However, you know because the internet, people
Mm.
see a lot, I guess. More than I search for, I guess. Okay. How many people in China speak English?
200 million.
There's a lot. I don't know how many, but I know, you know, from the middle school, the first year of middle school, there's a class for students, you know, English class. We started to learn English from there, okay? and you will have English class every semester until you graduate from college.
Really?
Yeah. But we put lots of time there. I don't think at my time is that efficient, you know. Even I learned so many years English, when I come over, I still cannot speak. Yeah.
I had an interesting experience with a young woman from Beijing who came to the United States. She really believed, and there was no way to convince her otherwise, she really believed that the government in the United States told each of the newspapers what they should publish. She could not believe that we have somewhat of a free press.
Yeah.
So that their experience in their own culture is such that this is a foreign idea that you can express yourself that way.
That's very funny. Yeah.
Because they didn't have any resource to know about that.
Right, no reason, no way of knowing it, because that kind of information is not encouraged.
No, there are lots
This
of
is
people
a
know
very
that from the internet.
brilliant woman who was a physicist at a high level, way beyond her postdoc. You know, she was really, and she was, it was just very interesting. But when I tried to tell her, no, she thought I was lying.
Yeah, but right now there are lots of people know that because of the internet, you know. People can, you know, some people just explore on the outside.
But she didn't want to say anything political here even.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, there's such a big Chinese community around where I was living that it just, I don't know what she thought would happen, but.
I don't know. Yeah, that's all I have for today. Yeah,
I know the time is getting a little tight here now, but just one observation and one question. I used to live in Toronto for a while, and the neighborhood I live in Toronto, as you may know, there's many, many Chinese people in Toronto. At the local Safeway store, essentially the equivalent, there were 3 different, all in Chinese newspapers. And that was not at all unusual. So that was remarkable to me. That was in the middle 90s. So that's the statement. The question is, how is Xi Jinping viewed? Or can I even ask you that and you not feel uncomfortable answering such a question, given that there are spies everywhere?
So you talk about 10 years ago, 20 years ago in Toronto.
In Toronto, yeah.
Okay. Do you know where the newspaper come from? They come from mainland China?
I think from Canada itself, actually.
Oh, okay, yeah. I understand that. Here in US, when you go to the Chinese grocery store, you can see there are lots of newspaper there also. Yeah. That newspaper just made by here. You know, the Chinese here. Yeah. It's not the Chinese over there. Yeah. So lots of, I think they trying to make money by the, commercial on the newspaper. They have something content there, and they also have lots of, yeah.
I can't resist saying that this number about your retirement age, 55 and 60, I think if a lot of Americans understood that's the norm in China, they'd fall on their knees crying in despair, because increasing numbers of people in the United States are completely convinced they'll never be able to retire. Never.
There are people working into their 70s and 80s sometimes. Here.
Including Joe Biden, but.
Well, but he didn't have to.
I know,
there are people who were forced to.
Yeah, many people are, that's probably a big factor in the last election. Many people say, I just can't possibly retire ever in the United States. So that's shocking, frankly.
I think that way. In China, you feel like Chinese rich. They have lots of money. Okay, in their bank, every family, they have lots of savings there. Okay, that's true. However, here, even lots of people do not have money in their bank. I think their life quality may be better than there with more money. Okay, there's more stress because for uncertainty in the future.
Here?
Over there. In
Oh.
China. Okay.
So they don't dare spend it.
Right, some of them just like that. Yeah. And also here, people, I think, have better understand for the life. Okay, so most people have very peaceful mind here, but over there they worry too much. I think even I think they have more to worry. Yeah, not here.
Once they retire, who takes care of their medical needs?
Yeah.
Same person who
They
does
have
beforehand.
what they call that.
Healthcare.
That's
the
the
government.
same as
Overall Medicare, kind of?
yes. Just
Yeah.
like government
Government
have
sponsor.
that kind of spending money or they I don't know how much they can have, but maybe for different people have different percentage. Once you spend the money in the hospital for something, you can reimburse maybe like that. Yeah, they have that. In the old time, I say, 24 years ago, when we were China, that benefited really well. Okay, like me, because we only have one child. That time, that's one child policy in the family. So I went to hospital to give birth of my son. Lived there for 7 days. I didn't spend one penny. Okay, they're all covered by the company, which is actually money from the government or something. Okay, and my son, all medical expenses are covered. Okay, I don't need spend that. For us, we don't need pay anything out of our own pocket. However, back then we were really poor. We only make like 200 Chinese yuan a month. Yeah, we make a little bit of money, but lots of things we do need to pay, like the house. Okay, the company give us like a 2-bedroom apartment.
Really?
Yeah, we need to pay the rent, but the rent back then only like $3, $2.
Wow.
Yeah, like that. However, we didn't pay that because some companies they have money, they will give the employee to pay that. So basically, we live there for free, just like that. For the children to go the child care, we don't need to pay the money.
Really?
The company pay that. Yeah, that's just the old way. You don't have the income. Okay, like the family, you only have a little bit income, but most of the things are covered by your company. So you only need to spend on your food, your clothes, your life. Expense.
If you change companies, would there be different arrangements with the different company?
Yes, we'll have different benefits because different company different. However, back then most company belong to government. That's another reason.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
It's not private.
They all belong to the government. So that's totally different right now.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, they change a lot.
I think we can continue the discussion, but I think we
Yeah,
have to just
Technically.
acknowledge that we're going over time, and
Yeah.
anybody who needs to go, can
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Children might have to.
Happy
do that.
New Year.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Sarah wants to make an announcement.
Let me ask you one question first. How many of you consider yourself environmentalist or environmentally friendly kind of people? I bet you do. Okay. How many of you know that there are 6 sites in the shoreline parks that are undergoing environmental restoration? And a project led by the King County Conservation District, the Shoreline Park Department, and the Washington Native Plant Society. There's 6 places where we're working to get rid of all those blackberry vines and many other noxious weeds, and we're trying to restore a more normal habitat with native plants, and because the native plants will bring back all the other native wildlife, from the insects to the birds to small mammals, all of it depends on the plants. So we have a bunch of work parties. There's one coming up this Saturday in Twin Ponds. I have some green flyers on the table. So if anyone wants to, rain or shine, and wear lots of warm clothing, but if anybody wants to come and help us, we would love to have you. And this is going on in Twin Ponds, every third Saturday, which was last weekend, was the north end of Twin Ponds, and every fourth Saturday is the south end of Twin Ponds, which is a project that I'm helping to lead. And all of us were trained to become master environmental restoration people, stewards, by the Native Plant Society. It was quite a demanding course, so we feel a little bit qualified to do that. And so I would like to see if, I wanted to be able to make this public to Meridian Park because we're so close to Twin Ponds, and probably some of us use that park occasionally. But it's also happening at Shoreline, Boeing Creek, Booker's Bog, and Hamlin. So a lot of massive work is taking place there. So we hope to make some big changes in some of the parks.
Green sheet.
Yeah, the green sheet on the table, and if you can only stay an hour, we're happy to have you for an hour. It goes on for 3 hours, or if you can't come that day and just want to take a sheet to remind you to come another time. There's an email on there if you just want to give me some information, maybe come another day or come this week. You can just email me there.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for coming. We hope we'll see you again.
Great.
And I would wish you Happy New Year's, but I forgot to say.
Okay.
新年快乐。